The Craig Fahle Show on Deadline Detroit is made possible in part by Techtown Detroit, Detroit's entrepreneurship hub. Techtown Detroit is a business incubator and accelerator, helping tech startups and local businesses launch and grow. Techtown supports businesses with co-working, office, meeting, and event space. They also connect entrepreneurs to resources and learning and networking events in Detroit. Techtown Detroit, Detroit's entrepreneurship hub. Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to the week that was on Deadline Detroit. I'm Craig Fahle, and this is sort of a holiday edition of this, and I think the holiday that we're probably celebrating here is Festivus because I've already completed my feat of strength by watching almost all of the impeachment hearings in both committees and finally in the full House floor the other day. That is my feat of strength for a lifetime. And now it's time for the airing of grievances, I have a feeling.
Or, as Breitbart was pointing out, they were trying to take a shot at a Washington Post reporter who was celebrating impeach us or something.
Impeach us?
Impeach us or something, and showing the bias of the Washington Post.
Well, the
bias.
Well,
Right,
and Jeff Bezos. Well, can I introduce everybody real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure.
We'll get right back to that. Nancy Derringer is here, as usual. Also, we have Allan Lengel, editor and co-founder of Deadline Detroit, and my good friend Elrick, late of Fox 2, recently departed there, going back to the podcast we hope soon, doing a couple of other things. He's
All
advertising it right here, the soul of Detroit.
Online at the store.com.
That's right.
I like
and
that.
he
How
may
much is
need
that?
some purchases for the next couple of months till he gets this stuff worked out.
Wow.
Except for the portly gentleman, it may be more close. Well, a jersey like this is
I like it.
expensive.
So, ML, we are really excited to have you here, actually, and glad that you're able to do it because you have done this with me on many occasions, but for a little while it was difficult for you getting permission to do these sorts of things, and now you're back. So I'm really excited about that and looking forward to your next adventure.
Well, generally, they were pretty good about giving me permission, but things just we got really busy. You know, there's just a lot going on in this town. There's fewer and fewer reporters and fewer investigative reporters. So I don't flatter myself that people call me because they think I'm the best. They may call me because I'm the last, but whatever. As long as
I don't know if I should be
calling.
laughing at that or sad.
No, I think it's sad because if I'm the last, now I'm done. So there's nobody
it's entirely
left.
possible.
Ross Jones.
And
Ross
we'll
Jones.
talk a little bit later about the importance of supporting local journalism, and we will make sure that we put some time in for that because it is a hugely
I'm a subscriber
important
to
thing.
Deadline
Thank you,
Detroit.
by the way.
Thank you very much.
And my
That's right.
wife's a
Appreciate
subscriber to
that.
Deadline
Yes.
Detroit.
I know.
I'm giving more than she is, by the way.
Elrick, Baldus family, we greatly appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, so this has been a really, really unusual week, obviously. It's not very often that we have impeachments taking place. And it may seem like it wasn't that long ago with Bill Clinton. That was a long time ago. It was 21 years ago that we dealt with this kind of stuff.
That's a generation.
And
Trump was a Democrat at that time.
that's exactly right. He was.
Pro-choice, anti-gun Democrat at that time.
Wow.
And this
been
was
that long.
while he was still contributing to all those Democrats that he just asked for the money back from at the rally in Battle Creek the other night. But
Is he going to
seriously,
use that money to give to the charities that he raised money for?
something like that.
Or help the people get degrees at other universities.
Oh, whoa. Yes.
Really?
But I watched all this stuff, and I was just amazed at how unwilling certain people are to recognize that maybe, just maybe, something that might have been a little bit wrong was going on here. The level of defense that I have seen for this president and his actions has been just remarkable to me. I mean,
You know who didn't see anything wrong here? The same guy who didn't see wrestlers at Ohio State being molested. So this guy's missed a lot of big,
that would
crazy
be
things.
Mr. Jim Jordan you're
Is that his
talking
name?
about. Yes,
He has a different set of right and wrong.
Captain Casual.
And you know what the other
But
thing
his sleeves
is?
were
No
rolled
jacket
up.
required.
His sleeves were rolled up, so that means he's taking it seriously because he's getting down to the brass tacks.
And you know what
Working
else
hard.
you should also
Double
consider? Nobody in this group honestly believes that he did nothing wrong. They all know he did something wrong. They're just willing to lie to the public over and over and over again and claim that he didn't do anything wrong, which makes it even more cynical and horrible. I mean, they all know. They know. They just don't care.
It's for the
doesn't
same
matter.
reason that they voted for him. They see him as a vehicle to carry out their agenda, and they don't want to derail that agenda by,
Right. They're taking over
Not-
the federal
not that-
judiciary.
Right.
They are dismantling the regulatory state or whatever they call it. And, someday we're going to have a mass food poisoning incident. And, we'll all talk about that.
As I can't remember if it was Schiff or somebody pointed out and said, hey, if he's removed from office, Pence is president, not Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. It's not a coup.
Ha, ha, ha. Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's one thing that I'm excited about the Trump presidency based on what he was saying in Battle Creek when he was here. The night he was being impeached, he was having one of his rallies in Battle Creek, and apparently I'm going to be free from the oppression that is low-flow toilets. This has been a problem for too
dishwashers.
long. We've been oppressed in this country.
And paper straws.
I can't even make the dishwasher work, and apparently the women tell me that the dishwashers are a problem.
You have to hit the button 12 times and you get 4 drops of water.
That is not me saying this. That is a quote from our president of the United States. The women tell me the dishwashers don't work right anymore because of our water regulations. He wants to roll this stuff back.
In my house, the men are familiar with how the dishwashers work too.
Mine too.
We grab them by the pan. And then we put it in. Because when you're famous, you can get away with cleaning anything.
Oh, that's very true. But, we watched this defense. All right, anybody got a problem with Mitch McConnell basically saying that, man, we're not going to give this guy a fair trial at all, admitting that there's nothing that he do. He's working directly with White House counsel to come up with a strategy on how to deal with this. I'm sorry.
It's a third world country.
It is.
Yeah, sure, you can commit a crime, but good luck in the courts.
Right.
We've got the jury. The jury's on our side. The judge is on our side. Good luck getting anything through.
Well, the last senator who said, I may be compromised or I need to step away from this because I'm too close to it was Jeff Sessions.
Yes.
And look how it worked out for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Gone.
So I don't think all these people supported Trump. I think a lot of them actively opposed him. But now that he's in there, they've realized that it's him and us or we're out. And so now this is like the old movie where the two convicts are chained together. And I'm not saying that any of these Congress people or presidents are convicts, although there is quite a body of evidence that laws have been broken. We're not going to get to that. But this is a matter of mutual destruction. If one of them goes down, the other one goes down. The congressmen and congresswomen are worried about that. Trump isn't worried about that because he's had bankruptcies, he's done this, he's done that. There's been no consequences whatsoever.
Sure.
But, this is it.
Now you've got me. I can't think of the name of that movie.
You think of Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis?
Yeah. It wasn't.
The Brave Ones? No.
I can't remember the name.
But
hey,
now I'm
anybody
gonna have
out
to
there
look
wants
it
to
up.
let us know which movie we're screwing up on. You've got access to Google real quick that you can get to faster than I can. Let us know, and you can chime in on the comments, and we'll figure it out that way. Well, you mentioned the Congress people who are worried about this. One guy clearly who was worried was Representative Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, who switched parties the other day. So he's in the White House yesterday, and the defiant one.
The defiant one.
Very good, very good.
But they were boldly defiant, so I'm going to take half a point, Alex.
So Jeff Van Drew goes into the president's office yesterday to sit there and announce he's switching parties. And he says, well, I believe this is just a better fit for me. This is who I am. Okay, this is a Democrat who won.
He pledges undying loyalty.
That's the part. Here's my
if James Comey had only done that.
Here's my undying loyalty always. And I immediately flashed to the beginning of The Godfather, in which Don Corleone's seeing people who are coming in to ask for favors during his daughter's wedding. And he's like, so what are you going to do for me? I mean, and it really was one of these things. I was half expected him to put out the ring.
Someday. You say, though. What are you going to do for me, though?
What are you going to do for me, though? For us.
I will come to you for a service.
And if he asked for the favor,
day may
remember,
never come.
He didn't ask. I didn't say, you need to do me a favor. You need to do us a favor.
Right.
As in the United States, because that's what everybody says. It's us.
It's us.
Us A. Us A.
Yeah,
not
us
USA.
A. That's what he's talking about. Us.
But that's exactly it. So, but this Van Drew guy, the fact that he said that yesterday, I mean, he may get reelected in that district.
Well, he wasn't get renominated by his own party.
Yeah.
He had challengers coming from the Democratic side. So this is yet another member of Congress who said, I tether my hot air balloon to Trump or I'm destroyed. And these guys don't care about their oath. They don't care about their obligation. They don't care about their constituents. All they care about, and this is on both sides of the aisle, so this is not a partisan rant, is I've got to come back. I've got to have this job.
Well, I mean, what is the length of time you need to be in Congress before you can get that lucrative gig leaving Congress? Is it
9
more than one
seconds.
term?
Did you hear?
I mean, because, you can't, it seems like one-termers don't necessarily get that nice K Street gig.
I know we
that
try
you get
to be.
when you've been in there 8, 10, 15 years.
Well, it always helps to have established a name.
Chairman,
that's true.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in a one-term congressmen, unless they're just a big name, like they're from the Kennedys or somebody, they're not going to establish themselves. Or they're Rashida Tlaib.
So Carrie Bentivolio is not making tons of money. They're lobbying.
Congressional reindeer. You know, I know
it is
that
the holiday season. That's why I brought that.
I know that this show we tend to stress the irreverent part of our mission statement, as seen here.
Yes.
However, yesterday I did some driving to and from Lansing, and I had occasion to listen to Alyssa Slotkin on two separate podcast discussing her decision to vote for impeachment.
Sure.
And if you want to contrast to Mr. Van Drew here, listen to her talk about that, because she's a freshman. She's in a swing district. She is legit imperiled by this. And, the people showed up to yell at her at her event at Oakland University. And yet she said, I have to do what my conscience and my principles require me to do. I'm doing it. If this is the end of my congressional career, I'm good with it.
But
that's what all the deep staters say. Remember, she was with the CIA with Valerie Plame.
That's right.
Who's running for Congress, by the way.
It's the accolade. It's interesting. I mean, she deserves accolades. At the same time, she's being what a Congress member should be. And she's, when we look and go, oh my God, she's a hero. It's like Chris Rock, who talks about some of the guys saying, hey, I take care of my kids. And he says, what do you expect? Yeah, you're supposed to. What do you expect? Cookies?
Right, exactly.
You want cookies? You're supposed to take care of your kids.
Right.
And you're supposed to stand up for what you believe in. But we see, I cannot believe that all the Republicans believe what they're saying.
No,
they don't. Right. They believe that if they don't say it, though,
that they're going to get squashed
they're getting
like a bug.
Asala to Nowheresville.
Right.
Which may not get
Which
them
makes
there on
it,
time
again,
anyway,
is what makes it so repellent. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they're doing it anyway, which is... I've run out.
It's interesting to watch. I have no idea what's going to happen in the Senate. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, of course, trying to hold this up for a little while, at least see if she can get some sort of leverage about whether or not they actually want to call any witnesses in this quote-unquote trial that's going to happen in the Senate. Any predictions on what this is going to be? What this is going to look like? Is she going to be successful in compelling testimony from, say, a Lev Parnas or a Rudy Giuliani? I don't think so, or even a John Bolton.
I don't think so either, but
if you see witnesses, you'll see a witness named Biden before you'll see Bolton or anybody or Mick Mulvaney. Of course, Mick Mulvaney's already testified in front of the press that we do quid pro quos. That's what we do. We do this all the time.
Grow up. Grow up.
So, I think they're in a tough spot. I mean, there's an argument to say, why even give them the pleasure of acquitting in such a farce? At the same time, the Republic. I see people on Facebook who I'm friends with, and they're friends more, who are saying, "Oh, it's so urgent and important to get this impeachment through, and now you're holding it back. Why?" And I say, because it's a farce. Better to keep him under indictment and not give him the acquittal that he wants. But their argument is, hey, this is such an urgent thing. What is this? Just a symbolic gesture? And in many ways it is symbolic, but it's also telling him, we don't approve of what you're doing. And I put on Facebook yesterday, I said, Republicans forget that even if by default Trump is everyone's president, and Democrats have a right just to say how they believe a president should act. Their president. He's everyone's president, unfortunately.
Yes. Well,
so
he is.
I want to step back from my comments that we'll have a Biden before anybody testifies. It's entirely possible that we will have a long, blown-out trial in the Senate, and I'll tell you why I say that, because I think this endless amendments and regurgitation of the same talking points over and over again, that was all done because there's a guy in the White House who watches his stuff and loves when people come to his defense. And so I think Trump does want something in the Senate where he wants people to go talk about how great he is and how he did nothing wrong. He wants to have that happen. He's probably going to insist upon it. This will be a moment where we see just how tough Mitch McConnell is. He doesn't want his wife getting canned, by the way.
Yep.
The only non-white guy working in the administration.
Yeah, shouldn't that be a recusal on its own?
Except for my
there?
man Ben Carson, Detroit's own. The belt stabber running HUD with the expensive credenza. Very proud, very proud. But I think Trump wants this, and he wants this to be in the same way he wants the 4th of July military parade. This is going to be a show of force for him, a show of loyalty, and he's just not getting enough jazz coming from Fox News.
It's funny.
go ahead.
I was going to say, I just got an email 4 minutes ago from
McConnell?
From Donald Trump. From Donald Trump. Okay.
Who addressed it and said friend, which
I am. You guys are tight.
We're friends.
You guys are right
there. And he said,
like
Nancy is a liar and a fraud. We witnessed the most partisan scam in American history. Then he goes, 229 radical Democrats voted to take away your vote. And it's interesting. 229 radical Democrats. It's like John James, who ran, in 2018 for the Senate, and he called the Democrats a godless party.
Yes.
He said abortion was basically black genocide. I mean, when we have this type of talk of 229 radical Democrats, could there be some lefties in the group? Yes, but I mean, look at the
ridiculous.
Group of Congress members and calling them radical.
Well,
Democrats.
The kind of people who are on Donald Trump's email list lap this up, like you.
You saw what this is the same party that slammed Obama because he wouldn't say radical Islamist terrorist.
Yeah, right.
He would just say terrorist. It's like, no, you got to put all the adjectives in there, which I actually appreciate because watching some of these guys testify in the House, I just didn't realize I knew that many words.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing that's bothering me most about this right now. And you started seeing this manifest itself, especially in the full House vote the other day, where so much of the testimony on the Republican side was, this isn't about Trump. This is about you. They don't like you. They don't like flyover country. They don't like the fact where you live, what you eat, what you do. And then Trump yesterday puts out a tweet where he says, this isn't about me. They're coming for you. I'm just in the way. I'm your protector. And I'm sorry, if they want to start a civil war, which it certainly seems as if that's what they're pushing for here, I'm just like... the fear-mongering is ridiculous. It's insulting to people's intelligence as citizens of this country.
It helps harden both sides.
Well, it's one of those things, though, that we're not even talking about the same things at this point in time. This is about Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked me the other day and then just said, well, you just don't like Donald Trump. And I said, you're absolutely right. I don't like Donald Trump.
What's to like?
But this is about the facts of this one single issue.
I almost fell out of my chair for a minute there. But yes.
I'm like, yeah, I don't like this guy. I don't think he should be president of the United States. I've never shied away from that point. But I wasn't going to impeach him unless he did something illegal. Nobody wants to impeach a president. It's a pain in the butt. It's difficult. It creates problems. But when somebody breaks the laws brazenly, as he did...
It's an extreme measure.
It's an extreme measure for extreme times. And it should not be weaponized. Yeah. And the fact that they're threatening, well, next time you guys get a president, we're going to impeach him just because. No, you need cause. Mm-hmm. There was cause here, and it requires us to look at it. It requires us to take it seriously and figure out whether or not this is something that we should remove a president for. That's what we're doing right now. This is not an affront on any other person in the United States other than the president of the United States. Just because you voted for the guy doesn't mean anybody's coming for you.
I can
Nobody's
hear
coming
Oliver's,
for any of this stuff.
I can hear the Green Acres piccolo playing in the background.
This rant has been welling up in me for the last 3 weeks watching this crap.
So there's one thing that there's many reasons why Hillary Clinton wasn't elected president.
Put the thing over my back there.
Go ahead.
Calm me down.
But the thing that killed her in a close race was the deplorables comment.
Yeah.
And it's because what this Republican Party these days is trying to do is say, listen, everybody's looking down on you. You're scum, but we love you. And so come with us. The difference between what's going on now and what happened in the Nixon era is that Nixon, whatever you thought of him, at some point said, for the good of the country, I have to go. The difference with Trump is Trump will set a fire until he's the last person who's not burning. He will destroy everything around him to survive.
Burn the White House down.
Nero.
Now, yes, and I'm not saying that I think he's guilty or not guilty. I'm just saying this is a man who doesn't have this notion of, well, maybe I got to take a hit for the good of everybody else. No, his thing, as his people say, as they said when he suggested that Dingell was in hell, he's a counterpuncher. So if he takes a hit, he's got to deliver one, even if it's pressing the big red button that his little buddy there in North Korea who got the Nobel Peace Prize with him keeps trying to push.
That was an uncomfortable room the other night, by the way, when he mentioned the Dingell comment. When he sat there and said, well, maybe he's looking up. Which, I mean, there were actually a smattering of boos coming from the audience in that one. Anybody that shows up at a Trump rally in Battle Creek is a really big Trump supporter. I think I think he touched a nerve there that may not help him in this state.
Yeah, I mean, I even saw some of the conservative people that I debate with on Facebook sometimes who were saying that was wrong, which was an amazing concession. But I was going to say, it's interesting. People talk about Civil War and stuff like that, and I try to think back at the Civil War and what was it that, both sides could not see the other's point of view at all. It's like some people said, slavery's great. It's good for our economy. We need it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's something. And other people were saying slavery was never right. Raping, beating, enslaving, kidnapping is wrong. And both sides just could not see. And I feel like we're I think we're at a different time. I don't know that people are going to go to the streets and start fighting, but I see that there are two sides that cannot see. I mean, when we watch the debates or the hearings, we see two sides that are just totally in parallel universes. And that's what leads to Civil War.
Which one, if it's parallel universes, I'd rather be on the side without bearded Spock. And that's where I think I am.
Mirror.
So there's a little Star Trek reference to those people.
Yes,
That's
right.
He
The
knows
mirror
that
universe.
One. Absolutely. So, all right, well, let's go ahead. Last word on this. Go ahead.
Doug bearded Spock. But
well, he looked cool.
Here's how I think this impeachment thing would have gone in a way that wouldn't have given me great concern for the future of our republic. If both sides had acknowledged the facts of what happened and debated over whether this is worth removing a president.
Right.
That's where you can have a debate and say, these are not high crimes and misdemeanors. But the thing that this didn't happen, it did happen. And that, they released the aid on this date? Yes, they released the aid on this date after it came out that they were being investigated.
Right.
These things, to me, are so empirical. They're so non-debatable that when we're debating the facts and we can't agree that it's Friday as we record this and broadcast this, then we are totally
Yeah, exactly.
We are. Mm-hmm.
Well, it is the internet, so you don't necessarily have to beep, but I do have to put an adult warning on
Still
there.
a gentleman.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Just FYI, just so you know, this just came across my Twitter feed. Nancy Pelosi has officially invited President Trump to deliver the State of the Union address on February 4th.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, good.
That should be
Good
interesting to see what kind of
Good
reaction
one.
he gets there.
I hope she gives him another.
Right.
All right,
Another
so let's
clap.
move on from the president for just a little bit and go to the Democrats because they had a debate last night. We finally had a stage with only 7 candidates.
Let's go to the people who won't be president.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. I mean, I was watching this last night.
I wrote the damn bill.
I wrote the
You
damn bill.
guys-
Bernie was killing it last night. Everybody's ganging up on Pete Buttigieg last night for sure because obviously they fear that he's gaining some momentum in places like Iowa. Everybody wants to win those early states, even though in the long run it doesn't really mean jack.
Right.
But
I don't know about that.
I watched it last night. I woke up in the middle of the night and watched it again at 2 a.m. So I wanted to see it and make sure
Can't
I watched
get
the whole
enough.
thing.
Man,
I'm an idiot.
No,
I'm sorry.
God, whoa.
So,
Once was enough for me.
I'm getting to be an old man. You just sort of wake up at random times and start doing stuff. So
if you were wondering when you say, "Hey, ML, come over," and I say, "I might be busy at night," you just found out the real reason I'm not coming.
So anyway, I watched it last night. Actually, there was some substantive discussions going on. Lots of talk about a wine cave. And I saw that place where Pete Buttigieg had that fundraiser, and I was thinking to myself, that place is pretty cool.
It is very
I would
nice.
like to go to that place, the
We
wine
work for
cave.
McKinsey. I mean, this is like if you can't get a job with the Carlyle Group, you work for McKinsey. So anybody who thought that Pete Buttigieg was rubbing elbows with the unwashed is kidding themselves.
Well, I mean, Oxford educated. That's exactly where those people tend to go when they get out of school. But I mean, is that okay? The outrage that we're seeing about the fact that he worked for one of his clients, I believe, was Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan,
Right.
and he was pushing paper and crunching some numbers for them as they tried to figure out their severely broken operation at the time. Is that a disqualifier for a guy that's actually done corporate work? I mean,
Doesn't
are the
Elizabeth
Democrats
Warren
going
even-
that far left where they're going to punish people for actually working in the private sector?
I mean, I think
'Cause that's
Elizabeth
the sound
Warren's
that we're getting
corporate
from the Bernie
clients are
crowd.
just as onerous if you don't like those types of people. I mean, look, Buttigieg is a young guy. He's not in a position in his life where you can just say, you know what, boss, I'm not going to take that assignment. We all work for somebody, which is why people give us money. Now, you shouldn't have to sell your soul, but I mean, yeah, let's eliminate everybody. Then you know what? Then we got no candidates. I mean, I think Obama said it very well not too long ago when he said these litmus tests, there's just not going to be anybody left. We're all going to be eliminated.
Well, and I used to bitch up and down about the purity test on the right when, depending on what your position was on everything from abortion to
no new
deficits.
taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Don't worry about the deficit, by the way. That pledge is over.
Well, apparently it doesn't matter anymore.
Shoveling it in.
And, well, the economy just keeps going up. See, look at the stock markets. It doesn't matter. But seriously, and it bothers me on the left as well, to the point where I'm like, hey, this guy made 9 points that I really like, but that one thing, that's going to disqualify this person. He's batting 900. And I'm not going to vote for him or her because of that one thing that I don't like. And the Democrats are doing their best right now to make sure that we get the most milquetoast, most broadly palatable candidate, in the hopes that maybe we peel off a couple of these people from Trump or some of the disaffected Republicans, which are probably not in as big a number as those disaffected Republicans would like you to think they are.
I have a question. I was watching that debate, and Joe Biden was talking about children, and he started stuttering. And I assuming he was making.
He was.
No, he was.
He has a stutter. He was.
No, he did that though to talk about the boy who couldn't talk.
Right.
Yeah.
And he does work with kids with stuttering problems.
Yeah.
He gives money to people that do that because he did
Get
stutter.
some jobs at Burisma.
I was watching that, going, I don't know if I would have done that, but
then Sarah Sanders tweeted some crap.
She apologized for that.
I don't even care.
It
She's
wasn't
still a
that
piece
hard.
Of crap.
She apologized.
God.
I'm going to say, all I was trying to say, see, it wasn't that hard. Hey, I made a mistake there. I apologize. That's really good that he actually works with these kids who are affected by this.
It's a good thing she's not working.
She walked it back.
She's not working at the White House.
She could not have done that if she worked at the White House.
No, not anymore.
Where is she now?
She's going to run for Arkansas governor.
She's spending more time with her family. I feel bad because I missed this thing last night. I just didn't have it in me. After
it's all right.
I didn't have it in me, but I did kind of catch up on the wine cave question on Twitter today, and I'm baffled as to. I mean, I get what the problem is, but it's an event space, okay? People who are throwing fundraisers, they try to throw it in a nice place so that they can attract people to come to the thing.
$900 bottles of wine.
If you're going to have it in the basement of a church or something like that, I mean, feel free. But if you're looking for deep pocket donors, then you throw it in a place where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Bernie Sanders was talking about billionaires when he said that Elizabeth Warren had 41 billionaires donating, while Buttigieg
well, you know what?
had only 39. He said, you got to catch up. You're a little behind.
As a liberal, I'm kind of happy that some of the billionaires actually are on that
side.
side.
If
It used to be the other way.
We
two of them are running.
Exactly.
If the Democrats want to beat
Mike.
Trump, they're going to need money, and I don't think all these $25 donations out of the pockets of poor people is going to add up.
Yeah, I mean, I understand Elizabeth
Bring on
Warren.
the billionaire.
I understand her whole point about billionaires buying the election, but at the same time, why alienate? I mean, there's some very socially conscious billionaires out there. There's people who care.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah, who care, and why alienate them and say and demonize them into I mean, yes,
they should pay more in taxes.
Yes, they should pay more in taxes, and I think a lot of them are. I would say fine.
Yeah.
We'll pay more in taxes.
Well, okay, speaking of billionaires, Mike Bloomberg opening his campaign office in Eastern Market tomorrow. Smart move. Saturday, the day it's there.
Speaking of wine caves, man, that is a very hipster new
What
Detroit.
kind of monkey wrench is he throwing into this whole thing? Because he doesn't have to worry about these primaries at all. He can just sit there and find a way to get his name on the ballot. I don't know. Independent? What's he going to do?
Well, as an independent, just endorse
best
Trump. I mean,
Yeah,
we got George Bush because we had Ralph Nader. We got Donald Trump because we had Jill Stein.
And we may end up with Donald Trump again because we have Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, yes. Voting present, by the way.
How lame was that? Was the lamest thing ever.
It really
I mean,
was.
Either you show up, you don't want to show up, don't show up, but don't be creepy about that.
And then her explanation.
And say present. What was her explanation?
Because this is tearing our country apart, and
basically,
I didn't want to take sides.
It's a good way to depart the campaign because there's not a Democrat.
It's a good way to catch the attention of Vladimir Putin and start some sweet cash.
The Democrats would have lost a lot of support among Democrats had they balked on impeaching.
Yes,
period.
of course.
I mean, the Democrats would have said, "That's enough. You guys are spineless."
Well, that's always been the knock on
She's
Democrats.
super pretty, and super pretty girls can get away with a
well,
lot more.
it's a very spineless.
Wow, listen to that! Listen to that! Just sarcasm dripping off
Wow,
from Nancy.
catty.
All right, we got to move on because we don't have a ton of
is
time
super
yet.
pretty.
There's a couple of topics I want to get to. Zug Island.
Yeah.
Zug Island. They're going to close down operations at a bunch of Zug Island. 1,500 layoffs, which is unfortunate. But Zug Island going away in April. I mean, Zug Island is such a part of our collective history in this region. I mean,
finally
who hasn't made a joke about Zug Island or smelled Zug Island?
Dick Purton immortalized it. You fill my sinuses like a trip to Zug Island. I mean, it's just, I knew about Zug Island before I knew what Zug Island was.
The story that I did on Tom Nardone and his trash fishing organization, I went specifically because he said, we're going to be going down around Zug Island. I'm like, put me in the boat. I'm bringing my camera. I just want to see that place from the water. So that's what we did.
You kind of wonder, was Zug Island doomed the minute they named it Zug Island? If it had been like, like Daisy Island, would they have slag
Rosie.
heaps there? They're like, well, let's go further down river because...
Sweet Meadows Island.
Yeah, it's like the old Seinfeld thing. Once you name a kid Jeeves, you kind of know what he's going to do for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's about it. So here's my favorite story of the week, just because it is so typical, I guess, but strange at the same time. There's a church pastor in Missouri who apparently really liked to hang out on Grindr. And for those of you that don't know what Grindr is, it's Tinder for gay hookups, basically.
Gay men.
His handle was DILF. His name was Barry Cole Pointer, 57-year-old pastor, and he was trying to get he's also a college professor, and he's trying to pick up college dudes by going on to Grindr. And he typically would offer them gas, clothes,
Truman State
and
University.
apparently the kicker that got them to say yes to hanging out with this dude on Grindr was that he was giving away Arby's gift cards.
Oh my God!
We have the beef,
I was just going to say.
and we know where we want to put it.
The meat jokes just are
Wow.
too
He was an
plentiful.
elder at the Church of Christ elder, and he's also a professor at nearby Truman State University. Was busted after a student reported him, and a cop went undercover on the app. So a police officer had to go undercover on Grindr.
To find DILF.
Did the
He
cop
allegedly-
get the Arby's gift certificate?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Here's what he said. He sent the officer a message saying, quote, "I would love to have a sugar daddy relationship." Then he offered to fill up his gas tank in exchange for sexual favors on December 3rd. And if the younger guy was willing, Pointer said, quote, "I might throw in an Arby's card."
Oh my God!
LOL.
With curly fries. With curly fries. I mean,
I'll never look at horsey sauce the same way again.
And that's why I eat the barbecue sauce at Arby's. Thank you very much.
funny.
But yeah, I mean, how typical is that of these types of stories? You know,
It's always something like that. But
and
yeah.
I'm sure
Maybe
he's
he was trying to
probably-
reprogram these kids.
Yeah. Sugar daddy.
I like that. And the Arby's thing is a nice
Does the
twist.
Arby's thing?
Yeah.
It's like instead of like little kids, you're like, "Hey kid, want some candy?" Drive around
right.
college campus. "Hey man, you want some Arby's? You got a van? You open it up."
Arby's
I mean,
pretty good. I mean,
Really? You like
Feels like an
Arby's?
Arby's day.
it's not bad.
No, that one was.
My
that was
father
bad, though.
loved. He loved Arby's. He loved the curly fries. That was.
Well, you get the 5 for $5 beef and cheddar. You put them in the freezer. You eat them for the. I mean, you can't go
Can't
wrong.
go
See?
wrong.
And a tank of gas if you're willing to give
Wow,
somebody a
tank-
handy
But
in
I'll
the
tell you
drive-through.
what, Arby's was a treat when I was at college, though, because that was just like you had to go a little further to get it because they don't have one right away. And we were lucky we didn't. Hot and Now was close
Okay.
and
God.
cheap. 39-cent hamburgers. You could stock up on
Disgusting.
those for weeks. No, they were delicious. Anyway, one last story that I want to get to because
Jeez,
Mr. Elrick, you love.
Let's salvage this one. We just went down market.
You always. Well, that's the whole point of this Friday fun.
I
But
thought this was a sophisticated audience.
you love covering local politicians and their
and uncovering them.
Exactly. Wow. How about the mayor of Taylor, Mr. Sollers? Rick Sollers is now in deep trouble, indicted on federal bribery charges. I love the fact that the other person who was charged was a builder named Shady Awad, which you can't make that up. And I'm sorry, and a guy named Jeff Baum, who's a community development officer in Taylor, they found $206,000 in a safe. This is a guy, as mayor, makes about $100K a year. Stacks of $100 bills, and he said, "No, these were my gambling winnings."
Yeah,
I mean, which is great, but this reminded me so much of Cheap
Sounds like
Heart.
an IRS charge is coming now.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it's
no
entirely possible, but
Kwame Kilpatrick had $800,000 in the bank.
Bobby
And they-
Ferguson, just a couple floors up, right? Or was that in the Buell or Guardian? I think he was across. He had multiple offices for his
Yeah.
shell companies. There's like one in this building, I think
Right.
one across the street.
but you look at this, and knowing how many FBI agents are prowling around Metro Detroit right now with every investigation that's gone on, whether it's my old organization that I worked for, whether it is, of course, what's been going on in Macomb County with the garbage haulers, whether it is Kwame Kilpatrick's administration. The FBI is all over this region right now, and they're about to add some more. So, ML, you got any words of advice for any local officials out there?
Don't do it, and if you have, it's too late. But the first one in, man, make that deal. There's a lot of people who did some dirt who walked out of court free men and free women because they rolled immediately. But if you're the last guy to get on the boat, it's a long trip, and there's no all-you-can-eat buffet.
No, there's certainly
Wow.
Or Arby's. Or Arby's.
Now that is
Arby's
an
for you.
Arby's metaphor salad right there. You know?
Wow. Wow. All right, well, we've got to wrap it up. Who's going to see Star Wars?
Not me.
Not me.
I mean, you heard my Star Trek reference already, so you sort of know my preference there. But at the same time, I got a 19-year-old. He's in town, so we're going to go check it out, I think. But not this weekend.
This is the death of Skywalker, right? They kill Han Solo.
Well, I'm not giving any spoilers.
I don't know if he died or not. The last one I saw had Jar Jar Binks in it, and I walked out and I just said, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that was
I got through the Ewoks, and then when we got the Jar Jar, I said, I got to get out of here, man.
I don't blame you. So Nancy, you don't strike me as the type that would really be into Star
Wars. I
saw
the first 3, and by the time the next trilogy came out, I had grown up and come into my full adulthood, and I decided that I would rather go see a Woody Allen movie.
Well, see, ML and I were 10 when the
Woody
first
Allen
one came out.
That was before Woody Allen imploded.
That's right. Was the Roman
I'm your father
festival taken up?
I'm your father, Soon Yi. I'm your husband, Soon Yi. I don't know about Woody Allen movies, man.
I'm using that as a metaphor for the kind of snotty art house movies that snotty elitists like me like to see.
Well, there you go. And you and your avocado toast.
Me and my avocado toast.
That's right. I'm going to get avocado toast on my Arby's. That's
I didn't know you could get that.
Wow. They may...
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, enjoy, because I don't know that we're going to be here next week to do this. Maybe we will. We'll find out.
I don't know. Happy, as a woman said, as a Washington Post reporter said, happy and peaches.
I'll be here. I got a lot of free time all of a sudden. Apparently, it's warm in here. So,
ML Elrick, thank you so much for coming down to help us out with this today. We do appreciate it. It's always good to see my friend, and bigger and better things coming for you, I'm sure of it.
Well, in the meantime, if anybody has any empty cans that they don't need, I got a bag in the car I could...
Perfect. Allan Lengel, we always appreciate it, sir.
Thanks
Fearless leader. Thank you very much. And thanks for just wrapping up really a year of doing this at Deadline Detroit. It's been a year already. You guys didn't even kick me out yet, which is just amazing to me.
It's a lot of fun.
Nancy Derringer, we appreciate you.
It's always
as
a good
always.
time.
And Michael Lucido, who engineered our broadcast
Michael
today.
Lucido.
Great stuff. Don't forget, go to Deadline TV. We got a couple of new videos up there that you want to check out. Johnny Noodle King, the latest, where our fearless foodies went. To check that out. Of course, the Zip is going to be up there a little bit later on. And also go to DeadlineDetroit.com. Some great coverage. There's a story that everybody should read that Violet put up there yesterday. It's really well researched. Auctions. I was glad to be able to help her with it, talking about the county treasurer's auction and some of the problems with it and the fact that there might actually be some work on fixing it. That's important stuff that we need to know about. That's what local journalism does. That's what we support. And your support for Deadline Detroit right now on our website, $3 a month membership or whatever you'd like to give us allows us to keep doing this, Allan, and it's been going pretty well. We've got some good support.
Rolling in. Always can use more.
Yep, absolutely. But it matters. So
when maybe needs a new pair of shoes.
And when you're trying to figure out where those charitable gifts, well, this doesn't count as that. But if you're trying to figure out where those gifts are going to go, this is a good time. This is a good time to do it and make sure that we can keep doing what we're doing and other organizations like us that are out there that are doing good work as well get that same kind of support, because we've seen what happens with the newspapers. They're getting cut all the time. And a lot of really good journalists are doing this kind of stuff, so we're keeping the work alive and making sure that you know what the heck is actually happening out there, because if it wasn't for journalists doing this sort of stuff, everything would be like that rally in Battle Creek, and that's not what we want at all. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that good stuff.
Happy holidays.
Thanks to everybody. And
drive home safely.
Hey, the Craig Fahle Show on Deadline Detroit is made possible by Samaritas, which is the state's largest private foster care and adoption agency. But they do a heck of a lot more than that. They've been serving homeless families,
persons with disabilities, abused and trafficked women. They're also one of the largest resettlement agencies in the state. They provide market rate and affordable housing for seniors and HUD housing for families. And they also have skilled nursing, memory care, and rehab communities in Grand Rapids, Cadillac, and Saginaw. Samaritas, thanks for their support. Great organization doing great stuff all around the state.